Okay, day two, video two, sort of Convallaria videos. Let me know if y'all like these videos. I think my last one was literally an hour long. I did not expect it to be that long, but I was literally sitting there just yapping, and honestly, it wasn't that bad. In my case, in particular, I think I am a fan of like videos that just like go on and talk about like a particular sort of way to build something and like giving reasons behind it. So just know that's like what I like, and so I'm hoping others might like it as well. So this is that. But yeah, so in that last video, I did discuss like why Luffy might be strong, particularly strong. Um, but I think there are definitely trade-offs when you think about like, do you want Luffy in your team comp? Um, so I'll go over that and like why you might not want to be pulling Luffy. I think there's two main reasons in particular. One is the unreliability, and the other is the overlap. So, for example, at high level, the unreliability would be like the fact that Luffy is very RNG based. And not to say like other units don't have like a good amount of RNG, but like the way that his playstyle is, it's very sort of nonchalant. Like things happen, like cool, lol. But like okay, like I need this to happen to that character, right? Like that's Luffy. Like he's the one that's randomly doing things, for lack of better words. And the other case is like the overlappability, right? Like I think he applies a bunch of level 2 attribute debuffs over the span of like the game or a particular round or map or so if you have a bunch of other units that are mass applying level 2 attribute debuffs, then this might be not the unit for you, right? Because it basically means that like you're only playing Lutfi for the life loss, and you're sort of not making use of like I don't know, other potential things that you could be applying to them, because like these level 2 attribute debuffs don't stack, but you can get other level 2 attribute debuffs that like aren't overlapping with it. It's just like if you have too many redundancy here, it just goes to waste, right? So let's first go discuss why Luffy is strong. I think I did particularly okay in the other video. Um, so let's just go over it though as like a recap. Okay, in general, Luffy applies a lot of life loss. What is life loss? Life loss is basically a way of getting past defenses. And that's assuming like you don't count health as like a defense. Because what happens is you're not dealing damage, you're just removing life. And the life you removed is equal to your physical attack in this case. So regardless of how much defense that a Titan might have, like the life loss just doesn't care. Like if you have like max fully decked out, like bust down Titan, like Titan's got like over 9,000 physical defense, Luffy doesn't care, right? Like Luffy doesn't care. Even though his attacks are scaling off his physical attack, like life loss just doesn't care about how much defense you have, or like your shields, because it just does direct sort of damage in that sense. So that's why it's strong. In this case, Luffy, he applies life loss um, in great rates, right? Like he can apply his passive up to 4 times per round, and he can also apply life loss from his like abilities that are also passively happening. For example, like Hidden Peace, 80% life loss. We've got Disturbance, 40% life loss. And then we also, I think that's the only other instance of life loss in this build. So like, if these happen to the same unit, that's basically a free auto attack. Not even accounting for like his like doing other abilities, right? This is like passive doing 120% damage. And so if you're also thinking about like imagine what a fully stacked amount of debuffs would be from Luffy's passive on a single unit. This is 25% physical attack as life loss. That's an extra like auto attack. So like you can imagine in Merry Christmas Land, and that like imagine everything was happening to a single unit in the correct ordering. This is 100% life loss, and then this is 120% life loss. And that's 220% of damage from a single character in a single turn. Now, do you know how many characters can do 220% damage in a turn? Not too many. I think the ones that do come up there are the ones that can crit pretty reliably. So like maybe someone like maybe Luvada, maybe as long as like she gets her stack, her the stars align right. I think Nungle, I think that can happen with her because her signature ability does 160%, and then if it crits, it does an extra 60% damage, right? Um, or is the crit just increases 60% damage? Like so, like that's dealing double damage. So that can like completely one shot a unit, in theory, if it's like weak enough. But then you also have like Kavari, right? Kavari does physical attack equal to he does life loss equal to 100% of his magical attack. So I think roster can trigger too, and roster, I forgot how much roster does. Hold up. Is roster like a set amount, or just like more of his? Okay, roster is 60% life loss. So if you get them low enough, it'll trigger roster to do 160% extra damage. That's from like a passive ability, right? And then like to come think of it, like the 80% that Luffy is doing isn't blockable, right? It's life loss. So like a bunch of other units, they have like basic attacks, but like their basic attacks are like physical damage or something like this, right? So like that is being, some of that is being disregarded by like the armor to their targets. Or like Luffy's basic attacks, they don't get negated at all. So he's definitely a damage dealer in that sense. I don't know if you call him like a traditional DPS unit, but he's got high damage per round, right? Per rotation. So in that sense, I think he is definitely a stronger damage dealer, and you'd probably lean him towards a damage dealer than like a debuffer. But the debuffs do help facilitate his damage because that's just what his trait is built around, right? So like, yeah, Luffy is particularly strong in that sense. Okay, so what are the trade-offs of having life loss? So there are some units in this game. There's a few that come to mind. Coco, I think, is one of them. That like, if you apply her snow, is it the Snow Lotus that Coco has, and her decision ability, that dispels all debuffs. If you use that and you're completely decked out with like life loss from Luffy, basically like he wasted his turn, right? Not only did he wasted his turn, oh wait, actually no, because I guess he did waste his turn, right? And and if you go around again, like imagine he attacks Coco again, like he can strip Coco of like their buffs and stuff like that. So like it basically is like a no, like basically nothing happened during those turns, right? Because if Coco and Luffy keep fighting each other, like imagine Coco is just gonna whittle Luffy down from like basic stuff like that, just from passively just like healing and removing life loss instances. Okay, so but in theory, like life loss can be removed, and so if you do remove a life loss, basically you're negating Luffy's damage. Okay, but that's not like any part of my greater argument. My greater argument is that Luffy has a bunch of instances where like his life loss is sort of just dependent on like what he's rolling, right? So if you have like a disturbance trigger and you have more than 3 enemies nearby, like who are those triggers going towards? And this is also cutting into his passive, right? Like if this happens on anyone else that's not like a high priority target, you're basically losing damage. And like an 80% damage to a single particular unit that doesn't have any debuffs on them, that's not going to do much. Like, can you imagine dealing like 80% damage, like a basic attack from a Kanbei? Like that's the same amount of damage that Kanbei is doing. Honestly, it's probably tickling most units, right? So, and we can sort of like depict that too, right? Like, if we just go to, actually no, this is not the best route. It's not the best one. The best map to show this is probably like the map with Convallaria, right? Convallaria in the boss fight. I think this is it. Where like there's just so many units. Like think of this fight. And then let's see. I'm like also hoping, no, we can make it so he attacks first, right? We just play Tear with Lutfi. There you are. And Tear goes pretty quick, so I think we want Cole. Cole is like just slow enough under Luffy that we can see what happens. Where's Convallaria? Okay, so in this case, I just basically want to show like, what if I want to take out a single unit? What would that look like? So we're not going to use Kaya. There we go. She can go over there. Okay. Sure, we got this. I do want to buff Luffy here. Life loss does not also get impacted by damage increase, right? Life loss only is impacted by physical attack up, so like one of those trade-offs where like any other damage dealing ability can get buffed by like damage up buffs. Okay. Okay, so it's Luffy's turn. Alright, imagine we're in like this deep, like right here. Oh, I didn't bring the. Oh, is this? Okay, this is decoy. Now imagine we want to just deal damage to the person in front of me, right? This KA guard in front of me. Now how do we ensure that we do as much damage as we can to him? Well, first and foremost, in this case, we want to act like Luffy's a DPS unit, so we want to be careful, make sure he doesn't die. So we're just going to decoy. Again, that's probably the most sensible way of using Luffy's decoy here. Now, assuming that the guard that was placed in front of Lutfi was the one that was targeting, which I don't know if there's like an easy way of telling that, right? Because they all have the same name. They have slightly different stats. 9-3. No, they have the same stats. It's gonna be hard to tell. So imagine like, yeah, I want to target the guard in front of me. Well, now he's got no debuffs on him, right? Like I'm playing a DPS unit and I want to kill the most important character on the field. Well, yeah, I've got no damage on him. He's not dying next turn. Not only that, but because like life loss is the way life loss works is like it happens at the end of the turn. I'm gonna have to wait two. I guess it depends on like the rotation, but like for the speed, but like I'm gonna have to wait a turn before like I can actually kill him. Right, so move this unit back. I'm just gonna like slow these dudes down because they're coming after my peeps. Okay. Okay. Now let's see how Luffy works. So now I can target this pikeman that I really care about. But also like imagine I didn't care about this pikeman. I just want to deal as much damage as I can. Like ideally, I think you want to kill the most important units first, right? Like Luffy's just in here by himself, right? Like he attracted all the units to him in order to like get them debuffed, and he'd use his ability. So now he's just like in the midst of the battle as like a DPS unit, which is, I think in theory, not the best thing for a DPS unit. They have no one to protect them, so that they can just dish out damage. Okay, so let's do hidden piece on this guard pikeman. Okay, so what happened there? What happened there? We used our ability on this pikeman, and we only got a single instance of 80% life loss. And he's still alive, right? This very important unit that we need to kill, otherwise like game over, he's still alive. That kind of sucks, right? Like as a DPS unit who needs to kill certain units for the sake of like winning a certain match, like this is pretty bad. Now, granted, my Luffy isn't taking damage, but you can also consider that, like, imagine this is like a enemy Convallaria, and we just need to kill him. He's just like wreaking havoc on my team now, right? Like he's causing it to rain, like things are being burned down. This isn't a particularly good situation, but also, like, no one's really thinking about Luffy either, right? Like Luffy, he's kind of just sitting there, not doing anything. He's not taking up space. He's not particularly causing attractions. Like no one's waiting for him at that particular location. He's sort of just like existing, and you know that's generally how he's supposed to play. But like, imagine this was like a tank here, like doing something similar, maybe like attracting units or like ensuring that no one gets to the back line. Like this is sort of a issue in that like it's pretty unreliable, especially if like when there's so many units around here, like my debuffs are just gonna go wherever they don't need to be, right? So he's pretty unreliable in that sense. See, so now he's been around for 2 turns, this one in front of me. So yeah, and he doesn't have the life loss anymore, right? So like, if you just think about it, that's pretty unreliable. Now, in contrast, let's think of someone else. Let's think of someone else who can perhaps do a better job at like killing a single unit. And let's just focus at that one unit right there, right? Like I think in most instances people can see that like, yeah, Luffy's just gonna distribute attributes randomly. For example, imagine it's like Tristan or Karis. Like, let's just do like Karis. I don't know if she can like singly outright kill that unit. I know Tristan would. I know Convallaria would. I think Convallaria would be like a good stand-in, like a good DPS unit. Like Convallaria is really strong. Okay, so let's do Convallaria. Now imagine I still need to kill the same unit. This one right here. So standby, Kaya. And we can just buff. Sure. Actually, I don't even remember if I did that with Lutfi. I'm just like, let's just buff Convallaria. Okay, so let's just do this with him. I think he could probably kill himself. Okay. Right here. And then teleport Convallaria here. Like, Convallaria is like one of those premium DPS units. Imagine we wanted to kill this K guard. Click the roster. And then apply conviction directly to the target. So, wait, hold up. Like, you can generally see though, like, right? Like, if my Convallaria, I actually don't think I think the shield that he has on might not be it. It might be it one, actually. I forget if I took it off. No, this is good. This is good. Okay, but like, you can see where I'm getting at, right? Like, if I really need to kill a unit, I can just directly kill them. I don't need to wait. Like, I think that's the trade-off with like people who use life loss as a damage source. So like, yeah, that's one of the trade-offs with like, oops, I'm not going to try. I like using Lutfi. Is he's just unreliable at times. He can be strong, but like, it needs to generally be on a lower amount of units in order to be like sufficiently strong. Because he applies a lot of life loss, it's just not particularly concentrated on like what you always want it to be. Okay, so let's go back here. Let's discuss his overlap with like, and this is for like some cases, right? Like, this is not gonna be applicable for everyone's case, but like, imagine a team comp that doesn't want Lutfi. Like, would you just simply add Luffy in just because? Like, would it work? So, for example, let's just build a team comp right here. So we want like a tanky unit. In my opinion, I actually do like Mytha a lot. I think she's a particularly strong physical defensive tank. I think you generally want like and we'll just like go up to 5. I think 5 is like sufficient. We'll go up for like, we'll do like a support. And then we'll do, let's see. We can just do Terra actually. I mean, there's a lot of units I can fill up like this role, as long as they have like the same similar abilities. It's like sort of shows the reasoning why you might not want to do Luffy. And then we can do, we could damage dealer. We could probably, actually Afro might work here. Right? Okay. At least in the playstyle I play Afro with, she generally wants Climate of Ice Field. Okay. Okay, so in this situation, I think this is like a team comp that Luffy probably doesn't want to be in, right? Like, we have our vulnerability source here, but we also have like our damage buffs here that aren't even part of debuffing units. And then we have like our debuff source here from Afra. And Afra also applies other random debuffs just by virtue of, yeah, but like Proverb and Fantasy, like that also causes debuffs. So like, you get sort of diminishing returns, and that like there are better units that would, I guess, sufficiently increase the sort of output of this team comp. Like, you could put Lutfi here. Like, imagine if you had Lutfi here. Where's Lutfi? Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Here it is. Or you could have someone like Safia or SP Safia. Like, I think Safia or SP Safia are better choices than like a Luffy in this situation, just because what they do doesn't overlap with like what the current team comp is already doing, right? So Luffy is adding these debuffs. He's like concentrating units, but like we don't really need these debuffs if we have someone that's already applying massive debuffs on a massive scale like Afra, because Afra has like Nightmare Puppet, which is impacted by her trait, which adds Nightmare Puppet debuffs to literally everyone within the four tiles. Because like I think 2-star Afra I have here. So like in this situation, Luffy just doesn't do too much. Okay, so what does this fight look like? We can actually run this through here. We can run it here. We probably want to show. We probably want to show Lutfi as like the damage dealer, right? Or do you want to show him as a debuffer? Probably say no. Probably as a debuffer, right? So we can do something like Abyss. I think even Abyss would be probably a better. I'm trying not to use Convallaria because obviously like Convallaria just, but like then that's 2 damage dealers. But I think Abyss here shows like maybe a better situation because they also apply +2 random. Okay, they also apply debuffs here and life loss. Maybe like this is a better choice. Like a good stand-in for Luffy. Okay, so, like this fight would play out pretty nicely in my opinion. Watch me actually like lose this. No, that'd be actually funny. I probably will lose it, to be honest, too. I don't think I will. It's gonna be redundant because I think my Mytha already has the pass that I take on her isn't the strike back one, and so she automatically gets the thing. Okay, then we can do this. That'll be the ice field. This is not gonna reach, is it? Nope. Then I think I'm gonna do this. That way I can tank attacks. Right, Luffy wouldn't be able to help tank attacks here, obviously, but the way that he runs in, it's like no one's even moving. Okay. And also a situation like this too. Like you can imagine if like Afra was Lutfi, like you have to play really close. Like his range is only 2 tiles away. Afra has 3 here, so you can pretty much do a lot of stuff here actually. I think you can still get away with it, but like if you just played, if you play like this here, like I'm already applying. Let's see. Am I not in range, I guess? The debuff? Yeah, so I applied physical defense down 1. Physical defense. Magical defense down 1. Nightmare Puppet is also down 2. Nightmare Puppet. I'm already adding like a bunch of debuffs here. Okay, so yeah, so I'm adding all these debuffs. Would this be a good case for Lutfi? Maybe. I said that because I think it's not probably highest priority here in this case. I think you'd want a unit that has more range, just because what Afra is doing by also like sort of stopping and slowing these units, making sure they don't move to our back line, is something that Luffy kind of is doing, but in a sort of riskier fashion. But also, like collectively, the damage that Afra has done with just the ice field, granted it's probably a harsher cost, it's probably more than what Luffy had done, right? Like this is dealing 60% AoE piercing damage to 4 units, so that's 240 damage across the field already. Like that's Luffy's his checkmate ability, right? Like that's how much it does collectively. Okay, so sure, I have a fantasy. And like if you're using Lutfi as like a debuffer / amplifier, damage amplifier, like Afra is already doing that sort of thing already. So you sort of get diminishing returns here. But I think that I actually don't know how life loss works with Afra's passive, but you can see there's like a lot of tension and conflict between the two. Like imagine if it didn't work, then like if you cut Afra, it's like then your team is sort of, maybe it doesn't work because Terra has so much movement speed, but like you can see all this is coming up to say like it just generally depends. Like your team comp is gonna be highly dependent, and like Terra isn't always like a 100% pull. I'm sorry, Luffy is only 100% pull. So you can see here. Yeah, look, they haven't even touched our backline. It's kind of crazy. I mean, they touched it, but like, okay, but you can see this. You can see like these units are doing so much that like a single Lutfi just isn't going to really change much for the comp, or like it's not going to be like beneficially impacted all too much. Although I do think like there still is reasons to play Lutfi. It's just in this comp, he seems more like a liability. Like for example, if we trade Abyss in here for Lutfi here, like how different would this play? Like you get this for sure. There's a damage buff, but we're gonna also give him the damage reduction. It's not gonna buff his damage, but it's gonna at least reduce the damage he takes. Like also you can see if I do use the Calamity of Ice Field, like Lutfi is gonna have a hard time getting in here. And like most units that don't have extensive range, like Afra, are gonna have a hard time getting to the unit that they want to kill, because just like the Ice Field is a lot. And like that's just something that like something you need to take into account. To like, are these units a must pull? Like, it depends. Go take some damage for Afra. Right? Like I can't get on here. I can't. Like if this was like a Nungle or like an Akambe, I would just like plop down here, spawn units if I was a Akambe, like right here. And I would just like have no problem with this. But because I'm Lutfi, I need to get closer to do range, to deal damage. Luffy just like, he doesn't have that much damage. And you can imagine like if he was here, there's also like a chance that he doesn't deal damage to the people he wants to deal damage to. So, I mean, we can still play through it with it, but like you can see there are very obvious trade-offs behind just like the characters you choose here in your team comps. Like they literally just like can't move. Okay. Like I think Luffy can like target this Scholar of Union, but like honestly, is that such a high priority target? Probably not. Like I probably want to kill like Lightning here. Is this Lightning? Knighted Pikeman. No, it's not. Lightning is back here, right? I mean, it's a different name, but the unit. I probably want to kill this unit first. I probably want to kill like this Knighted Pikeman first. Isn't this one the silence? Something received. No, this back one out of the silence. Like in theory, like Nungle could special attack and like signature attack and like hit this, right? Okay, cool. Sure, we'll just do this. Afra's like really disgusting here. She's like, they like can't move at all. Okay. So now we play this. So we get on the tile. We start getting on the ice tiles. What can we do? So we can deal damage here, but like at the cost of like being potentially hit by like this bowman here, this crossbowman, right? But like if I wanted to like start dealing damage without being targeted, I would need to like go here. And it's only like this unit, right? Like it's just, there's better reasons or better characters to play with like better range for like this team comp. Like for example, if I did the exact same thing with literally anyone with like over 4 range, like even Nydia, right? Like she even has like the frost immunity that just sort of shows, right? Does she have frost immunity? She doesn't have frost immunity. We can do Nungle. I don't know if I've got Nungle. Okay, I've got Sapphire. She's got this thing though. That's obviously gonna give her. We can do Nydia. We can do Lily Will. Like this sort of team comp will play so much more smoother. Okay, then we do the same thing. And the reason we lead with the Calamity of Ice Field is because if we do want to do AoE Phantom in Fantasy, it does require units to be like injured, and so this is sort of like a prerequisite to get them low enough where like that can actually injure them. But also it gives them a few turns to be damaged by like other units, so that way like we can have the sleep going. I think I'll do like later like a sort of video on Afra, because that's just one of my favorite units. That and a Kambe. So I think it'll be a cool video. Okay, so like right here, like remember how we first tried Lutfi? Like he couldn't deal damage. I'm not saying like Lily Will does like the most damage or like can do the most damage, but like the ability to like hit targets that I need to just like start chunking them down before they can like do significant damage to my team is just like possible. That's like something that we can actually do with Lily Will. So like say I want to kill like the Scholar of the Union like immediately. You saw with like Luffy, it took like a few turns, like with this team comp. Wait, why is it zooming in? I think he silenced them, didn't he? So I have to. There you go. I don't think I dispelled it. There we go. Hopefully I dispelled it. Sure, we'll start Cage Shrubbery as well. This is a whole different timeline. Sure. Come back here. Do we want to freeze this guy? I mean, it just doesn't matter because we just don't care about that really. We just want to show like Lily Will being better in this team comp. Like seeing how like they're mostly just trapped on the ice field. It's like Luffy would have to be closer to get to start dealing damage here. And like yeah, we should literally kill her before she can even like be within the crossbowman's like range or like threat range, right? Attack threat range. Okay, so that is generally I guess the part about the overlap between debuffs is sort of kind of a little muddied there, but like if you go back and see how much like debuffs Afro was doing, like it was just sort of insane. And like Luffy just doesn't compare, right? The Nightmare thing increased the vulnerable to just from Afra, right? Like Afra's doing that already by herself. So like there's a lot of reasons not to play Luffy. But yeah, I think like in general though, I think a team comp. Let's do a team comp that would be helpful for Luffy. What would that look like? So we get rid of Afra. We get rid of this. I think a good team comp would be something that's a little more aggressive. So we can do something like Pamina. Like she literally wants to get in there, be attacked, like like beat me up, like unironically. Like that's Pamina. So we can take this. I'm like totally muddling up my character builds, but we can go back to it later. She's pretty self-sufficient too. One of the reasons why I like Pamina. Get rid of that probably. Actually, I think Aisha would be really strong with Lutfi. You probably do something like Aisha, Lutfi. But the thing here is that like, I think this is fine, but like the thing here is like, if Lutfi's invisible, what's the point of having Aisha? Like she could definitely. Oh, maybe we link Aisha with Pamina. But then like, the thing about that is like, Pamina wants to be hit. So Aisha probably isn't like the best here. What would be a better person? Maybe Gloria? Gloria. And then I definitely think because everyone is so aggressive, we can get by having like some long range damage dealer. Because no one's gonna be going to our back line. Like, I think this is probably okay. I think we need something that will... Let's take this, that we can put Pamina in the other plentiful one. It's just, in this team comp, I feel like you definitely need to have your units self-sufficient because we don't have like a reliable tank. And we can do this. Like, there's gonna be like a turn of cooldown. That's fine. There's gonna be like a turn of cooldown between like rotating through all of Pamina's abilities because we have her on Indomitable Stance. Okay, I could do this. And honestly, I think this is like an okay team comp for Lutfi. Like, we're causing so much havoc. It's such an aggressive team comp. We're having so much havoc in their back lines that like no one's gonna particularly care about our back line. AKA Nungul just like going ham on like the most important units. Probably do something like this. I'm also like, this is like a good spot for Pamina to go. Okay, then we can do this. Alright, and then we can just do this. I guess at the end of the day though, this is all gonna be like team comp dependent and playstyle dependent. Like, if you like a playstyle that's like more aggressive like this, like it could probably work pretty well. Generally not my playstyle, but like this works. Thing, one off from this. Okay, but like we can, if we get some more range, actually, we can probably not kill Tiden, but like the chunk will be stronger. Do this. There we go. And you can see that it's really coming in strong here. Oh. Because Luffy doesn't have too many units around him, that's gonna like eat up his passive. Like, we can pretty reliably just like get damage on people we need damage on. Like, pull that unit. Like, do I want to do this? Probably not. Probably just like do some damage to Tiden here. Oops. Okay, Gloria's also falling a little bit low. That's fine though. I think we still got it pretty reliably. Oh, sick. We stole the shield? The bubble? Maybe. Dang, that was unfortunate. Okay. See, that's like a respectable Luffy comp in my opinion. It's very much more aggressive. Not like the other one didn't go in for damage, it's just like the way that they are using units, it's like very defensively, right? Like, I'm setting up the ice field, I'm setting up the debuffs. That way, no one reaches like my backline units, right? So, anyways, yeah. So that's like reasons or why you might want to pick up Lutfi. I think in general he's still like a very strong unit. Even if you play him more aggressively or like bluntly, I don't know how you would call it, like with a backstab tree, like you just run like discovered check or you run extreme edge, like this is even more aggressive, but also might be more payoff because like the damage is probably more significant and but like it's like a whole different playstyle, right? Like it just depends. So of course, let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below. Are you still picking up Lutfi? Are you passing up Lutfi? There's just reasons to pick him up or not. Those are just some reasons why you might not want to. But like I still think he's like a good character. He's like a good still DPS character if you really need one for your team. If you don't have, in my opinion, if you don't have someone like Convallaria or someone that can do like high amounts of just like I guess some sort of like piercing / true damage or direct damage, then like Luffy's like a good pickup because he sort of fulfills the need to do high amounts of damage that can get past or bypass just like tanks that rely totally on like physical or magical defense, right? Because life loss doesn't care about that. Like, and that's probably like bosses for that sense. Like bosses are probably super notorious for having like high defenses, but also they're particularly weak to probably like that like super high concentrated amount of damage, which is something that Lutfi excels at. Even like when it comes to like his more direct abilities, like the checkmate, like this is high concentration of like damage, right? It's not like spread across like someone like Afra, and it's only like 4 times, right? So like even then, like this is only hitting 4. Let's see, it's in 2 tiles higher. Yeah, 4 times at random enemies within 2 tiles. There's just so much RNG in his kit. So yeah, the unreliability and the overlap in, I guess, debuffs. If your team has already a lot of debuff spammers, or if your unit already has reliable ways of like taking out maybe a medium amount of units, then probably you can pass on Luffy, in my opinion. But of course, as usual, let me know what y'all think in the comments below. What do you think of Lutfi? Are you picking him? Are you pulling him? Did you already pull him? How far did you push him? But you're probably also waiting for SP and Nana. But yeah, other than that, let me know what y'all think in the comments below. I'll catch y'all later.